This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here at the Boxer office. It's nearly home time on a Friday evening, so thanks for taking me into rush hour, Ben Shalom. But a long day of media for you, but in the same sentence, it's a great day yesterday and today, announcing what's up behind you, Adam Azim versus Ohara Davies, live at the Copper Box on the 19th of October.
Huge night to look forward to. I think a lot's been said about the big British nights and the big British fights, and both of them deserve a lot of credit. Both at Ohara's stage of his career, and Adam, for different reasons, it's a must-win fight. And expect fireworks, a huge show, great reaction, great interest, and I can't wait.
I want to talk about Adam first. Obviously, in the ring with Harlem. I'll ask you about Harlem in a bit, but Adam did get injured, and that's kind of prolonged his spell of absence from the ring. But now Ohara Davies, and the reception online has been mixed, but really it's a good fight, and it's a very, very solid domestic fight.
It's a great fight, and it's just a great test. And look, he's a 22-year-old man. He's already been European champion. He's headlining on Sky Sports. There's a lot of expectation on his shoulder. And to headline a show like this, with not huge notice, we know who we expected to fight. And to take a test like this, it deserves a lot of credit. And but equally with Ohara, at his stage in his career, this now becomes a must-win as well. And so, I think for Adam, credit to him. 22 years old doing this, it's phenomenal, and he wants to put on a huge statement after a bit of an absence due to the injury as well. Just delighted to have him back.
You look at Ohara Davies' career: Barroso, Ritson, Josh Taylor, Jack Cattrall. Granted, he hasn't won all of those, but the seasoning of this fighter is unlike anything Adam's ever fought before.
Oh, it is, and that's why Ohara fancies this so much, to get Adam at this time in his career, without this experience of big nights. You look at O'Hara's losses, other than his last fight, just Josh Taylor and Jack Cattrall. Josh Taylor went on to become one of the most successful boxers that we've ever seen. Jack Cattrall is showing how good he is, arguably still unbeaten, with that obviously controversial defeat that night. So two phenomenal boxers, went the distance with Jack, and he's ready to put on a performance. He's ready for it to make a statement. This is him resurrecting his career after his loss last time out. And so, phenomenal step up for Adam. And he's going to have to deal with something that he's never dealt with before, and an awkward fighter, and one that can really bang as well. And but that's what makes it exciting. That's what will excite the fans. That's what's going to create a huge audience. It's coming in after the football. This is really the big night for Adam. At the Copper Box, I expect a big crowd as well, and really looking forward to it.
I don't want to dwell on this too much because Ohara Davies is the opponent now, but why was the Harlem Eubank fight not signed, sealed and delivered?
It was signed, it was sealed for June the 15th, and Adam got an injury, and it was very frustrating. We tried to reschedule it. It was meant to go on August 31st with Wardley Clark before Riyadh Season showed interest in that fight, and we had to find a new home, and that home was Brighton on October the 5th. We communicated that there was a change in management and they wanted to go in a different direction, so that's their prerogative. I'm not going to sit here and badmouth anyone. It's not my style. We had to go and find a different opponent, and we had to go and find a big test, and we had to go and find a night that could equal that size of fight. And for many people, this is a tougher test, and this is a bigger name. And so delighted with how it's worked out, and that's the reason why it's not Harlem Eubank.
I spoke to Harlem this week, and Callis Howland, his promoter. They're still hopeful that fight will happen at some point. Not next, definitely not next for Adam, definitely not next for Harlem. But do you envision that fight happening later on down the line?
Look, you would expect so. I don't know if Harlem's going up in weight, and if that had anything to do with it. I think he might be going up to welterweight. But obviously Adam probably end up there one day. But I think Harlem wants a different type of fight next. possibly to come back. But good luck to him. I obviously worked really closely with his cousin. Got nothing against him. And yeah, good luck to him. And as you say, can that fight happen down the line? Definitely. But right now, we were focused on an absolutely huge night at the Copper Box.
Yeah, very exciting. 19th of October. When will we get updates on the undercard for that, Ben?
I think we're going to announce a few over the next few days. Big press conference next week in London with Ohara, which I'm sure will be interesting. Obviously, Lee and his manager is here today telling me I've made a huge mistake. And he's absolutely over the moon to get this over the line with Ohara. Obviously, Golden Boy involved as well. So thanks to them. But yeah, huge press conference next week and big undercard, really big undercard. I think we want to put on a big London capital-centric show and some big fights to be announced. Jamie TKB was announced today against Franklin Ignatius, which is a great heavyweight fight. Winner of that puts themselves firmly in the domestic scene. But yeah, some big fights to announce, and I really can't wait for this. It's a big test.
Okay, moving on. There's a lot I want to ask you about, so we'll rattle these off. Next week, or 2 weeks' time now, Tyler Denny versus Hamza Sheeraz. We'll start with that. I was talking to Adam Booth earlier on this week, and he was obviously in the corner of Felix Cash when Tyler beat Felix. Obviously, you was there. A very good night for you in enemy territory, Ben. But he said that if he wanted to lose to anyone, it'd be someone like Tyler Denny. And I feel like everyone thinks that about Tyler. Everyone just respects his journey, respects his route, and thinks it couldn't really have happened to a nicer lad.
It's a crazy story. It really is. He was an away fighter, small hall, shows, consistency, works hard, has a great team, humble, loves to fight, always well prepared, dream to promote, and he's got his just rewards, and he's a credit to British boxing, hopefully an inspiration for any fighter that takes losses, hopefully an inspiration for away fighters, hopefully an inspiration for guys that just realise that you just have to bring value and you just have to bring entertainment. And if you get losses, you'll get your opportunities. And sometimes the losses are what you learn the most from. And he's come back and just won consistently as the underdog over and over and over again. And what it's resulted is a phenomenal fighter and one that is written off time and time again. The guy has now got himself to achieve support. I think we'll see on the night of Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois in front of 95,000 people from where he's from. Riyadh season has changed his life. Thank you to them for recognising his hard work. And it's going to be a big test for Hamza Sheeraz. It really is. And
is he being written off? Is Tyler Denny being written off again?
Of course he is. Of course he is. In the same way Chris Smith is, on his journey up, always the underdog. Don't bet against Tyler Denny. He has fought tall fighters. He's River Wilson bent twice at middleweight. Brad Ray. He couldn't be more well prepared for the Hamza Sheeraz fight. He's having a fantastic camp. He texted me a few days ago just to remind me how well it's gone and just to tell me how confident he is and what a story it will be. And look, Hamza Sheeraz is a wonderful ambassador for the sport. He's a fantastic guy. He's obviously got a great future ahead as well. But this is a great fight, and fingers crossed we can do it on September 21st. Do
you feel like you're a bit of an underdog story when it comes to the Riyadh season, anyway?
I'm the Tyler Denny.
The Tyler Denny of British boxing, yeah.
Listen, we a lot of these fighters we started off with, as can we do it, can we not, how long we're going to do, and have to come through each test together. So to see them now, Jack Massey, another crazy story. To see them now on a stage like this is amazing, and I can't wait.
Joshua Buatsi, another fighter on the September 21st. That fight, as long with the rest of the card, but I feel like a lot of people online are picking Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson as potentially a show stealer. How do you see that fight actually going? Because if you'd have asked anybody 6 months ago, Joshua Buatsi would have been a heavy favourite, but I think now it's a little bit 50-50.
Yeah, I think he's still the heavy favourite. I really think this is a great fight for him, a perfect fight, a fight he's motivated for, a fight that Willie's wound him up in, and so he's really well prepared. But yeah, it's a big test. Everyone on the boxing scene knows how good Willie Hutchinson is. 12 months ago, we wouldn't have even considered that as a fight, but it's for an interim world title, and this is where Josh wants to be. He wants to put on a fantastic statement, and I expect him to do the business. But another great fight.
Who wins that main event?
Anthony Joshua.
Does he knock out Daniel Dubois?
I think he'll be disappointed if he doesn't, yeah.
Okay, better be Bivol. I haven't spoke to you since the undercard announcement. It's all right, you can smile, Ben. Congratulations, first of all. It's a stacked fight card from the boxer perspective. Going to start off with Chris Eubank Jr. Because that fight has had a little bit of criticism. I will be completely honest. Where do you stand on an opponent in Zerameta?
I think he's a good opponent. I think he's getting a lot of stick.
Unfair?
Unfair. He's lost to Munguia and Golovkin. He's a proper guy. He's proper. This is his huge moment for his whole career that he's waited for. For him, it's massive. IBO world title. Chris Eubank's been out the ring for a year. It's a big, a fight for Camille, and for Chris, he's going to have to be at his very best. Obviously, it's not the big name, but the big names will come, and I'm just delighted to have him in the ring. The noise that he creates, the interest, the fact that people comment so much. I mean, I've seen more conversation about Chris Eubank Jr. than anything else on that card, and that's what he brings, and that card's one of the best cards in boxing history. It was on Good Morning Britain last night. Yesterday morning, he just attracts that casual fan. So I'm hoping he's going to bring some big numbers on October the 12th, and then we can get, if God willing, he has a great performance, we can get into the big fight straight after that. And delighted to have him out.
You say the inactivity. I'm going to play devil's advocate here just for 1 second. He fought Liam Smith last time out. Liam Smith's had that same inactivity, and he's fought someone like Josh Kelly. Do you feel like Zerameta's the same calibre of opponent as Josh Kelly?
I think we don't know about Josh Kelly yet. We just don't know. This is his big test. Liam Smith is world class. If Liam Smith is the Liam Smith that we know, and if Liam Smith isn't carrying an injury or is fit and whatnot, this is going to be an extremely tough fight for Josh Kelly. But we know how good Liam is, and he's proven that in his career. So it's hard to compare Zerameta to Josh Kelly because we just the jury's still out.
Do you think we'll see a third fight between Smith and Eubank?
You never know. I think it all depends on Liam Smith on September 21st. Great fight.
It's all right. The PR team call in there as soon as Liam Smith's mentioned. But I want to move on to Billy Joe Saunders, who has come out this week and said negotiations have been in place for a couple of weeks for a Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Does that fight happen?
If Billy comes back, it 100% happens. They hate each other. I've never heard two fighters speak about the way that they do about each other, and it goes back so long. But the big question is, will Billy return? We don't know. Obviously, I hope he does. It will be an absolutely huge fight, but who knows? You'll have to ask Billy, and we'll have to see what Billy does.
Billy Joe said he's fighting a European level fighter if he was in the ring opposite Chris Eubank Jr. Is Eubank Jr. a European level fighter, Ben?
No, I think we've seen that We've seen that against Liam Smith. We've seen that throughout his career. But that's the back and forth these two are going to have. Look, they're just the personalities that you want involved in the sport. They're big names. They've got big fan bases. But as I say, does Billy Joe Saunders come back? We'll see.
I saw you on Talk Boxing with Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver, and when speaking about Eubank, you said that if he doesn't get a big fight next, i.e. Canelo, Ben, Crawford, Billy Joe, I think they were the four you used, it has to be a world title. How much pressure are you putting yourself, should he get past Seremeta, to deliver that world title?
I am putting myself under enormous pressure with that, but ultimately I understand from a boxing perspective it's the only... Look, of course there'll be other fights, there'll be other big domestic fights. You mentioned the trilogy, you mentioned Josh Kelly, you mentioned these guys, of course, but for Chris, it's big fights or world titles. It has to be. It has to be. Obviously, he's got to put on a performance. Anything can happen in the ring on October the 12th. I want to see him put on a statement. I want to see him show the world where he's at, and then we can see, and then we can make the fights.
Have you spoke to Chris about how long he has left? Because he's 34 and there is so many big fights being spoken about. Is it a case of just trying to fit them all in?
It is. But look, he lives a life. He's a young guy. He's not got much mileage on the clock. And, he's a fit guy. And the way he looks after himself just gives me every confidence that another 2.5 years at the very top. At the very top. He mentioned 3 or 4 years on Good Morning Britain the other day. So hopefully, we're going to get those 4 or 5 big fights now. For him to cement his legacy, that's what it's about.
Have you thought about how the dynamic's going to work on Fight Week with yourself, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Callis Howland, the 4 big guns?
For October.
For September and October.
September, yeah.
You're going to be working together a lot now.
Yeah, we are. It's going to... Look, as a fan, I can't quite believe the cards coming up. It's almost like we've become spoiled, but those Riyadh season cards, September 21st and October 12th, are the best boxing cards I've ever seen. I don't care what people say and say, oh, this or that. When have you ever seen so many main events on one card? It's phenomenal. And that's the main thing I'm looking forward to. Yes, what Riyadh season are doing, forcing the promoters, not just forcing, but ensuring that the promoters are working together, ensuring the fight. That's all the fans want. They don't care who's friends with who. They don't care about the relationships. They just want to see the fights. And Riyadh season are doing that. And those two weeks coming up are going to be really, really good.
So that's not going to be awkward then? It's not going to be awkward with you and the other promoters?
I don't think that's what people are bothered about, but I think it will be a great, interesting week, obviously, with everyone around. We did the press conference with the 4 of us. Of course, it's fucking weird, because it is weird, but
it's a good thing. It's a good thing, Ben.
It's amazing. It's unprecedented in the history of boxing. You look at the history of British boxing, the history of US boxing. It's unprecedented. And what a special time to be involved in the sport.
Okay. Also, on Better BF Bivol card, I feel like we're going to be here forever talking about your fighters on this card, but I want to start with the real feel-good story. Spoke about it a little bit controversial with the Eubank, Jack Massey. Wow. That's another Tyler Denny story. That's another CBS story. Just goes to show you take your opportunities, and what's the other side of that door is golden.
I remember before the Joseph Parker fight, it's like, what do we do? Or what opportunities are there out there for Jack? We gave him the Joseph Parker fight, there was a lot of raised eyebrows. He goes up to heavyweight. What Joseph Parker's gone on to achieve since shows the measure of what he did that night. And he's gone in there under huge pressure with a huge man with huge power, which will prepare him perfectly for this card and this moment. He's been there, he's had that pressure moment, he's then come back, he's gone and won the European title, and here he is now fighting the most feared man in the division, rightly or wrongly, he is. And and it's a massive occasion, and this is not a walkover. J.R. Patea needs to take this one seriously because Jack Massey's coming to win, and this is as you said, it's another Tyler Dennis story. It's what Riyadh season are doing, in the sense you work hard, you put in the work, you develop consistently. We've invested a lot in these fighters to get to these positions, and boxing can reward you. Win the important fights, and there you are. And amazing story for Jack Massey, and hopefully be bringing a lot of people over from Manchester, and I've known and I've seen what he's done for a long time. So what an occasion.
Wardley Clark too. So pleased that's over the line. We've spoken in the past about not really having anywhere else to go apart from that rematch for both fighters. So when it comes to negotiations, and you said earlier on in the interview, could have been 31st of August in the UK, how pleased are you that if they are putting their bodies on the line, another war, which we hope we get, then they're getting rewarded handsomely with that Saudi bag?
Look, what a moment for both of them. As you said, what a fight that first one was. It grabbed the imagination of the whole country. And one of the biggest fights of the year, maybe the biggest on domestic soil this year, would you say?
Maybe, yeah.
And could have sold out any arena, possibly could have pay-per-viewed the amount of people that were interested in that fight and watched that fight. I think we did over 1 million on the night.
Would the rematch, if it had been in the UK, be on pay-per-view?
For what the guys needed to generate for them, yes. Okay. With a big undercard and with probably a big fight to go alongside it, yes.
You said Azim Eubank as well would have been on that card.
Yeah, and that's the reality. But to get it on and this is what Riyadh season have done, it's boxing gone mad. Bivol Beterbiev, Wardley Clark, before we're even into Opataya Massey for a world title, before we're even to Chris Eubank Jr. and Ben Whittaker, that bring more eyeballs to any show than anyone outside the heavyweight division, all on one card. I'm missing Shakur Stevenson, I'm missing others. It's ridiculous.
How confident are you that your man Fraser Clark does that tiny bit better and takes it from a draw to a W?
I'm very confident. Obviously, anything happens in heavyweight boxing. Fabio can punch hard, one lapse of concentration and it can be over. But I think for me, it's in Fraser's hands. I think the experience of last time was probably the only thing that Fabio had an edge on him on. Now he's experienced that. Unlucky to draw, in my opinion, with the I think the point taken off and the low blow and then the knockdown as well. So it's in Fraser's hands, and I expect an improved Fraser Clark. I think it was a great performance last time out. To be doing this within 10 fights, could become the fastest person, I think, ever to win a British title in the heavyweight division. So, yeah, good on him, and a massive, massive night to look forward to.
Talk about that underdog, Tyler Denny, Jack Massey, but now you've got a proper underdog in the opposite corner in Liam Cameron when he takes on Ben Whittaker. It's impossible to dislike the Liam Cameron story, isn't it? I know you're up against him and I know everyone loves Ben Whittaker, but again, such a great opportunity for Liam Cameron, but unfortunately for you, you've got to put an end to that with Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, as you said, what a story, what a journey he's been on. Probably wrongly for me, been out that long. When you look at what goes on in the sport, it's hard to understand why he was out that long, in my opinion. Comes back, works so hard, lost, I hear, a huge amount of weight, goes into a fight like Lyndon Arthur at the level he's been fighting at. Huge performance.
Really close fight. I was there, really close fight.
On maybe another fight or two and he wins on that night. So it's a massive test for Ben Whittaker. Great to see Liam Cameron, another fighter. Another fight we did with Lee Eaton as well. And he's again, could take out two of our guys. But no, Ben Whittaker, this is the chance for him to show how good he is. And big fight, big opportunity. And credit to Liam Cameron for getting back in the ring and now getting a dream opportunity.
Whittaker headlining in the US later this year?
I hope so. Hard to talk too much when we've got such a big fight coming up.
Liam Cameron put that on his socials, actually. He said, don't overlook me, which rightly so.
Rightly so. And we need to focus on that. I know Ben's training hard, really not taking this one lightly. I think Ben deserves, for me, a lot of credit. I mean, seeing how good Liam Cameron was against Lyndon Arthur, for him to go, yeah, I think he deserves a lot of credit. And this could be a big performance.
If all does go to plan with Ben, though, that means you've had UK, Saudi, US. Surely got to be the goal to build Ben Whittaker as a brand, as a fighter, as a global superstar, not just a British superstar.
Look, people may laugh, but I think he can be the biggest name in world boxing. I really do. The numbers are off the scale. His talent is phenomenal. He's still working it out in the pro game in terms of, he's still very, very, young prospect in terms of experience, but what he's doing and the interest that is involved in Ben Whittaker is great for boxing. He's the type of guy that brings guys not interested in boxing into boxing. That's why he's at Riyadh season. That's why he's going to bring huge numbers on October the 12th. And yeah, as you said, all goes to plan. We build the brand, build a global star, and when those big nights do come round, we're looking at huge spectacles, huge global events.
Couple more quick ones. Martin Bakole. Another kind of gleaming moment for boxer out in LA. No steps back now, and he's kind of put himself in a position where he just can't be avoided anymore, and that's where you wanted to be when you signed him.
With Martin, it's just a pleasure because you take any fight because you're confident with any fight. There's not many fighters that you'll just go, just literally. I know every fighter says it. They all say it. Bring me whoever. Bring me whoever. Bring me whoever. How many of them really mean it? Not many. Not many. If any. I've never had it. I have never had a fighter that will take, when they say anything, they mean anything.
Map out his next 3 fights then. In an ideal world, and we know this can happen now with Riyadh season, who does Martin Bakole's next 3 fights look like?
Zhang next. Winner of Parker Caballero, if that happens. I don't know if it will, but that would be a great fight that I think they're looking at. And then he's got to fight for a world title. That's what can happen. That's what should happen if he keeps winning. And it's incredibly exciting. I think when you look at Francis Ngannou, look at what he did for mixed martial arts, look at his stature in Africa, look at the global name that he became. It's our job now, using the win that we just had, to make sure Martin Bakole becomes a global superstar. I truly believe he can. He's so popular in Africa, and he's got the talent to do it.
Are you going to have a 5v5 or what?
I hope so. But we'll see.
Who would you rather it be against, Matchroom or Queensbury?
I have said Matchroom in the past. Just because of the history of the fights that haven't happened, that could happen, and all that stuff. I'd love to do it, but we'll see. I mean, look, there's so many fights going, like Buatsi Hutchinson's boxer Queensbury, Tyler Denny, Hamza Sheeraz's boxer Queensbury, Wardley Clark now is boxer Queensbury. So it's happening, even if it's not on one show.
You're already 1-0 up against Matchroom?
Already 1-0 up, and yes, there's be some massive fights to be made.
Just off topic a little bit, are you an Oasis fan, Ben?
I am. It's massive for fucking Manchester. Noel comes to our shows quite a bit, so I didn't want to bother him.
Like you get a name check where Simon Jordan said, "Can we get you as promoting this?" Yeah, no, God, that would have lined the pockets, wouldn't it, Ben?
They should have kept it in house, but no. Would
you have used Ticketmaster?
I'd have used. I'm not even going to say that. Not even going into that. But it's great for Manchester, and obviously so many bands from Manchester, not just Oasis, but Stone Roses, Happy Mondays. Like, it's a place that's always produced the best city in the world, the best band now coming back. Obviously, we're going to hopefully see them on September 21st. Definitely Liam. But it's amazing for the city. And great to be there. I'll be there 100% at the Manchester shows. And Yes.
You definitely ain't going to be in like the mosh pit, though, are you? You're going to be in the leather seats
No.
of the prawn sandwiches.
There's no mosh pits at Oasis.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. There's not.
All right.
But no, yeah, it's great. It's great for the city.
Okay, finish on a serious note. Callum Simpson. Obviously, very, very sad news. I just want to give you the final word with that. We can laugh and joke about Oasis, about all the great fights, but this is a very human kind of topic to touch on to finish off, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in shock. Nothing we can say that will make anything better, really. Don't even want to talk about boxing when it comes. It's heartbreaking, and they're such a close-knit family. So, don't want to comment on it too much, other than to say that our hearts are obviously with them right now, and it puts things into perspective. You know, we think sometimes our daily lives and what's important sometimes goes out the window. That's what's important, and yeah, couldn't say anything really that's going to help, but other than that, our hearts are with them, and anything that we can do, we will be there. And that's it really.
Yeah, echo all of those words from everyone at IFL. Callum Simpson, obviously, we wish you the best if you're watching, mate. Ben Shalom, thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV. Roll on December 21st.
Top man, appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's go.